Greetings! Today I'm going to review 3 timers I own. Why do you ask, do I have 3 different timers? Because they're good for different reasons, and because I have obsessive compulsive tendencies. If you do too, looking for the best timer ever, I will recommend some for you. So I'm going to review them in order that I bought them. The CDN timer, then the time timer mod, then this FXZY, I don't know what it is, dual timer with interval function, which I just got last week. Neato. Alright, so both of them, all 3 of them, there are 3 of them, stand up, which is kind of neat. So this one, the CDN timer, has a magnet on the back. This magnet has fallen out on me several times. I think I hot glued it back on. It's got a little tab that you can pop up if you want to hang it on something. Those are pretty standard features on one of these. I do find, whoa, sorry, I'm 2 beers in, so a little bit more clumsy than usual. Oops. Anyway, this kind of slides and pops back sometimes by accident, but it's not a huge deal. It runs off of one AA battery, I think. Anyway, I have had this one for 3 years, and it's still going strong. I will say, I think I've seen on Amazon that they've updated the timer. Maybe it's not as good now, but whatever. The 2017 edition is great. I like that you can press the minute and second timers to clear, which is really easy. It's super easy to set. So if I click, then seconds go. If I click and hold, they keep going. Yay. All right. And da-da-da, same time here. And then I'll show you what the timer sound is like. Yeah. And that keeps going for a while. I want to say maybe 30 seconds of going, and then it stops. And one of the things I like is that it does count up once the timer runs out. So limitations of this one, it's only one timer. It doesn't repeat, and it can only go up to 59 minutes and 99 seconds because it doesn't have an hours setting. But it's a really nice basic thing, and I like that once it completes time, it goes back to the original time that you'd set it for. So pretty cool for a basic usage. Second one here, the time timer mod. I am glad that I got this model. I originally was looking into a bunch of the different time timer versions, but this is one of the only ones that actually has a plastic covering. Some of the other editions is just like paper, which I think is super dumb. Why would you do that? Anyway, this is a great little visual timer. It's pretty neat because you can just flick it to whatever time, and then you can see the time count down. So I find that it's really nice if you're like, oh, I need to work on this project for 45 minutes, or I need to study for 20 minutes, or I have a lot of meetings. So if I'm like, oh, I've got a meeting in 35 minutes, it can give me a really easy sense of being able to just eyeball it and be like, how long do I actually have before I have to be ready? So I like it for that. With that said, you obviously can't set seconds, and I find that anything less than 5 minutes is a little imprecise, and sometimes it does not measure time accurately. So consider this a ballpark figure. Oh. And that's what it sounds like when it goes off. It just gives you 4 of those. So bear in mind that it's not super loud, and if you miss it during those 4, you are screwed. Another cool thing to keep in mind, so here's where the speaker is. You can also set it to mute, and I do like that because it's such a strong visual, and if you're in a setting where you can't have sound, it's really nice. And it runs off of 1 battery, which weirdly enough is like under screw lock and key. I think this might have been based off of feedback from some of their other models that the, whoa, the thing, okay, shh, jeez, okay, that this fell off, but a screw seems a little bit excessive to me. Whatever. Anyway, I like this thing a lot. I think it's pretty great for its specific application. And it's a really easy to move dial, so let's say you had a kid or something that doesn't have a lot of motor skills, you could totally still manipulate it because it's got this little thing. Neato. I like this thing a lot. It was expensive, but I think it's worth it. Other kind of cool thing is that this silicone case actually comes off. Why would you ever want to? I don't really know. Cleaning it? I don't know. Maybe switching out. I think you can switch out colors, but then you'd have to buy a whole nother timer. I don't know why you'd do that. Oh, it's also got little feet on the bottom. unless it's either some kind of silicone or nice wiggly plastic. So yeah, this one's pretty cool for a specific application. Last one here, so it doesn't have a brand on it. I don't remember what the brand was. It was something like FXYZQT, but it seems to me like just some factory in China makes this model and didn't bother to brand it. That does not bother me at all. So the reason why I got this was that I wanted to use something for interval training that would easily allow me to cycle between 2 times. So a cycle of workout and then a cycle of rest. And this definitely does that. Before I forget, I'm going to show you the back of it. So speaker, shiny magnets. The magnets are kind of weak. And then battery here, and you can set it to be this angled or this angled. The other thing that's kind of neat about it is that it allows you to have it at high volume, medium volume, or mute. And at all times, it always flashes lights when it goes off. So that's pretty neat. But I like that it's just easy to use. It has some similar functionality to this one, so I don't get confused switching between using these 2 different timers. And yeah, it's got a stopwatch function. Oh yeah, that one also has a stopwatch function. So if you were like, oh, I want to count up, boom. Same thing here. If you want to count up, easy, counting up, right? Then you just press and hold the hour and minute at the same time to clear. Very easy. But what's cool about this is it's got 2 timers. So timer 1, timer 2. With that said, it's a lot smaller, right? It's about the same size screen for 2 timers. So if you want to see something from far away, that's the timer for you. If you want to see something and have 2 different times, this is the one for you. You can see that I've got the cycle on. If you want to turn it off, you just press and hold. So neat thing for this is that it actually does single intervals or double intervals. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's say I'm like, I want a cycling 2-second timer. Here's how that looks. Ta-da, easy. And then if I pause it, it will keep flashing because it's like, but, we're doing intervals. Ugh. Okay, so then let's say I want this to go for 1 second, that one to go for 2. Very easy. So I just press seconds, and then here, 2 seconds, and then whichever one I'm on is going to be the one that it starts on. So let's say I start on timer 2. Okay, so that's how intervals work. I think you get the idea. The other neat thing about this, though, is that you can actually turn off that interval timer and use this as a single timer. Okay, and if you do that, so bear in mind, I'm going to show you, so let's say I do a 5-second timer. Now if you're not doing intervals and you just have it on a single timer, this sucker is going to keep bugging you until it runs out of battery. So just keep that in mind. It will keep going forever. The other kind of neat thing is that if you don't have it on the interval, then you can have actually 2 separate timers going at the same time. So let's say I've got one timer for 5 seconds and I start it now. I've got this one for 4 seconds. You can actually have both going at the same time. I think that's pretty cool. And you can also, in addition on this one, set hours, minutes, and seconds. So it's got a little bit more versatility, but it is, of course, a little smaller, and this back feels a little flimsy, but I'm pretty delicate with things. It's probably not going to break. And it's got that little hanging thing on this one as well. It's a little harder to get to, but it works just as well. So these are my 3 timers. I think they're pretty great for different applications. I tend to keep this one in my kitchen for things like I need to remember not to let my quesadilla burn, so I'm going to set a 5-minute timer. Oh, also what's nice about this one is that the buttons are really big and they're really easy to press, so they're easy to manipulate. This one, super nice for longer stretches of time for people who need a visual, although it is a little on the pricier side. I want to say this one was like $25, this was $7, and that was like $13, so that's the price range. And then this one's really excellent for interval training, and it's a lot less expensive than a lot of the interval training specific timers like the Gym Boss and other ones like that. Yeah, and that's my timer review. Enjoy!